Hey guys, welcome back to Dragon Exotics, and sorry for the long delay and I guess between chapters of this audiobook. I think I might as well finish since you guys have been listening. And with further ado, let's continue. Legends Turn to Ash, Chapter 9, The Divided. I couldn't entirely grasp what had just occurred. It was all a blur through my tears and heartache. The dragons, no, our friends, left us here. I understood that part, but as for their rash decision, it just wasn't like them. I get it, Elzora has quite the temper, but I didn't really expect her to up and leave like that without letting me explain. The others went along with her as well, but they didn't even question her. People were just worried. If she took us with them, I could have tried to help, though. Why couldn't I be strong enough to break free from that trance? How worthless can a person be? I can't do this. I can't even look at Jacer and Asher. I'm so ashamed. I don't want to burden them anymore, but I really don't want to leave them. If it's for the best, maybe I really should go. I have no choice. I ran off toward the nearest town, holding my head down, trying to avoid eye contact with Jacer and Asher, but I couldn't help looking back at them. Back at the scene of the incidents, Jacer mumbled, "Well, I guess that's it for this adventure. Geez, Whisper, how are you that stupid? Even if the whole thing is a misunderstanding, it gives me the excuse to head into town and get some food." Soon Jacer left for town, leaving Asher all alone in the flat green spot where we all split up. He opened his mouth a couple times as if he was about to speak, but instead he started wandering aimlessly. I couldn't bring myself to look back at them any longer, so I charged and trampled through the trees. My heart pounded with each step, and part of me began to fill with hatred, not only toward myself, but Asher and Jacer as well. How could those fools get tricked that easily? I mean, it wasn't even like they were trying to put up their guard or pick a fight. If they would have just thought about what they were doing before they took Roland's stupid drugged water, then maybe none of this would have happened. I don't get it. Why does everyone have to be so idiotic? I can't even go back to them now. They all hate me. I arrived in the city only to return around and find that I had created a trail of frost as I walked. Oops. Is that because I'm mad at this whole situation? I wasn't even aware that I was doing that. I can't control myself. Not my mind, not even my ice power. My source of anger and agony can't only be due to Jacer and Asher, though. Maybe part of it has to do with the fact that dragons, my friends, went back home and had no intention of returning to us. Then again, why would they? If someone that I had just recently met accidentally killed my family and friends, I'm not sure I would be able to forgive them entirely either. Just proves my idiocracy. There's no way I can go back now, even if I did want to return to those morons. Feeling this hatred toward my friends and blaming them for my own mistakes wasn't making me feel any better. Instead, it was making me feel more depressed. I hate this. I really hate this, I mumbled angrily to myself. Light rain patted my face, mocking my gloomy mood. Walking through the city in the mental state I was in made it nearly impossible to notice anyone besides myself, but there in front of me stood a girl. She seemed so hopelessly lost and confused, but that didn't stop her from mumbling to herself and trying to find her way. Somehow my empathy for this girl outweighed every ounce of hatred and sorrow that had overtaken my body. She looked about my age, was a little shorter than me, and had short curly blonde hair that bounced on her shoulders. With a friendly smile forced onto her face, I walked toward her and asked, "Hey, you okay?" "Well, no, actually. My friends got mad and threw a bit of a fit. They're both disappeared into the city, and I have no way of contacting them. Always this special snowflake who gets left behind." "Do I know you?" the girl replied. I laughed and put one hand on my side. "No, you just looked like you needed some help. Could I help you find them?" "Oh, and what do you mean by special snowflake?" She smiled and looked up at the sky that was just beginning to clear up. "Yes, please, that would be the best. Special snowflake is what my friends and I call me. I mix up words and sentences sometimes, or do silly things. So I think that's how it's all started. It's a little late for introductions, but I'm Jay. Huh, I guess I forgot to. My name's Whisper. I like your nickname, it's pretty cool, I said, embarrassed about forgetting to introduce myself. Is there any specific place you think they could have gone? Did they leave as a pair? I'm not sure if they separated, but they were together when they left. I do know that they went in that direction, she said, scratching her head while pointing north. Jay emitted pure, welcoming energy that relaxed my stressed heart. Okay, that's a start. Why don't we just head that way? What do your friends look like? I think Sahara is wearing a dark blue long-sleeved shirt, and she has brown hair. Kate had a white and black long coat on, and her hair is black and a little curly today. She questioned herself. All right, then, let's start, shall we? I smiled as I led the way she had pointed. It's not much to go off of, but at least helping Jay will keep my mind off that situation. Maybe she'll help me get a flight back home as well, because that would be totally awesome. I wonder why her friends ditched her. It sounds strange to me. Then again, I'm not one to judge, given my situation. As we passed everyone in the bustling street, I kept an eye out for any pairs that had any of the features Jay had listed. Dark gray clouds loomed over us and thunder drummed through the sky. People of all sorts quickly walked across the sidewalk as if each one of them were late to an appointment. But we saw no sign of Jay's friends. Hey, so what could you have done that was bad enough to drive your friends away? I asked sincerely. I accidentally broke her new phone when I borrowed it. As she admitted her faults, I could feel the regret and remorse in her voice. It almost made me just as depressed. How did that happen? I asked, trying to show as much empathy with my expression as possible. I remembered the first time I broke my new phone, and it was an emotional time. However, looking back on it now, those troubles that I had in the past were meaningless. Well, I was texting and walking, but someone bumped into me and I tripped. Little did I know when the phone and I fell, we would both be cracked. The cold, hard cement cracked the phone's new glass screen, and it cracked my dignity in the process. She attempted to smile through her pain, but it couldn't fix the way her eyes drooped with sadness. If they're mad at you, why in the world are you trying to find them? Aren't they just going to yell at you? I asked, kind of frustrated. She smiled and nodded her head as if what I asked was ridiculous. I don't mind if they yell. I want to find them so I can apologize. I want them to know how sorry I am and that I would appreciate their forgiveness. I would hate for my years of friendship with them to go down the drain. They know I make mistakes. Everyone does. I guess in my case, that's just another reason why they call me a special snowflake. I was at a loss for words, and as we continued forward, I couldn't think of anything to say. I admired her. She makes it sound easy. Knowing most girls, her friends probably went crazy after she found out Jay broke her phone. And maybe they ditched her out of anger, whether they meant to leave the situation like that or not. Jay's still going after them for the sole reason of saving their friendship. She even accepts full responsibility for her actions. It's kind of like my case in a way. Why can't I be that brave? I know for a fact part of me wants to find everyone and apologize, but the other half doesn't want to admit my fault and wants to continue to hold the anger toward myself and the others. Why can't I be like her? Doesn't she share the same pain and embarrassment that I do? I pondered on those thoughts for a long while until Jay finally spoke. Did you hear about that weird animal spotted in the mountains of Cameroon? No, what was it? I asked curiously. She looked off into the distance once more in search of her friends and shot her crystal green eyes back at me. They don't know. No one knows. Some people were calling it a griffin. Some said it was just a huge bird. Some said it was a science project, and others debated whether the photo taken was even real. I can't even say for sure what it was, but it did have 4 legs and feathers. That was enough to get me curious. I wonder if it's... No, can't be. I mean, if it really were that banished feather dragon, it would try to keep itself hidden, right? If dragons exist here, then why can't griffins? Or maybe those people were right. It could have just been a fake photo. Though, if it really is that dragon, perhaps he could help us find out what's going on with the OSI and the South Africa headquarters. You seem deep in thought, Jay said in a curious yet friendly way. Any thoughts on what it could be? Oh, I don't know. I kind of like the mystery side of it. I lied. As we passed several different shops, I noticed two girls inside of a makeup store that resembled Jay's description. Hey, are those your friends? Oh, wow, nice eye. Yep, that's them. Thank you so much for your help. I would have never found them without you. Maybe I'll see you again sometime? Yeah, no problem. Good luck, I yelled as she quickly bolted over to her friends, waving goodbye. What do I do now? I really want to find Jacer and Asher, but what if they're still mad at me? You know what? No. I'm not playing this stupid wimpy game of what I'm doing with my life anymore. I don't want to leave and forget this ever happened, whether it's a fake prophecy or a real one. We six were destined to be together and help save the Earth no matter the cost. Heck, even in the small amount of time I've been in this town, I felt a couple of mini earthquakes, which isn't normal at all. Not to mention, they're my friends. I can't just go around thinking that I'll save my friends if I'm not even willing to go back and make amends. I'm done messing around. I'm just gonna find them and apologize to each one of them, because you know what? They're my friends, and I refuse to let them go. My emotions about my friends had been bottled up inside me for too long, and I couldn't stand denying the truth of the matter. Nothing was going to change unless I was willing to apologize like Jay and deal with the consequences of my actions. I searched in and out of the city until dusk, but as the sun began to set, I couldn't help but get the eerie feeling that someone was following me. I turned around several times, but each time I did, fewer people were hustling on the street. Well, that's weird. It's barely dusk, so where is everybody? Where am I? This place looks kind of sketchy. Why do I feel like someone is following me? I mean, seriously. I'm even beginning to hear footsteps behind me. I turned around a couple of times, only to see darkness. Not a single light lit the area. Cautiously, I tiptoed forward, continuously glancing behind. As I drew nearer to the edge of the city, I couldn't help but feel uneasy. Even though I couldn't prepare myself for the hair-raising, heart-pounding reaction to a cold hand slapping on my shoulder. Like any other normal person who was slapped while walking in a pitch darkness, I screamed, and I screamed loud. I screamed until the cold hand of my shoulder shifted over to my mouth, shutting me up. Naturally, I bit his hand and turned to see the culprit, and the truth surprised me. My deadly night stalker was none other than Jacer. Did you just bite my hand? Like, did you seriously just bite my hand? Who does that? How dare you? Okay, this time, I'm serious. I'm going to murder you. And I will enjoy it, he whispered furiously. Jacer? I was in shock. I never thought he would even consider joining our group again. Whoops, sorry. Hey, wait, what did you expect me to do? You could have been anybody. How was I supposed to know? He growled and muttered to himself. Whatever. I can't believe you bit me. Guys, wait up. A familiar panting voice whimpered in the distance. I'm coming too. Asher, you're back too? I couldn't help but run up and hug him. All right, now's my chance. This is perfect. We're all together. I have to tell them how sorry I am. I'm sorry, okay? I'm sorry. It was my fault you and Jacer were drugged and for not being strong enough to beat Roland. Because of that weakness, the dragons are gone, and you guys could have died. For that, I'm sorry. All because I couldn't snap out of it when he used that mind-controlling device on me. Please, Jacer, Asher, forgive me. I didn't mean for it to happen. I know I'm an idiot for trying to run away, but I just couldn't do it. I couldn't leave you guys because you just mean too much to me. And for me to throw away our friendship just like that? I shouted as tears welled up in my eyes. I forgive you, Asher said in a light-hearted, warm voice. It's okay, it wasn't entirely your fault. I mean, maybe we shouldn't have taken those drinks without thinking. So, I'm sorry too. I didn't mean to cause you two trouble. I was so afraid that you hated me and that's why you left. So, I almost couldn't bring myself to come back. I got some help in making the right decision, though. I missed you guys. Even though he was right in front of me, I could barely see him in the darkness. I could only imagine that he was grinning. Jacer grunted as if he wasn't entirely sure of what to say next. You morons. What the heck am I supposed to do with you? It's not like I like you or anything. I just came back to rub your failures in your face. But whatever. I guess I'll let you off the hook this time. Fine, I forgive you. It felt as if the darkness that had been guiding me this whole time had finally disappeared, and it felt good. It felt good to make the right choice. Thank you. You guys are so amazing. I don't know what I would do without you. Speaking of which, what made you come back? Asher jumped excitedly in the air and raised his hand. Oh, story time. Me first. Can I please go first? I couldn't help but giggle. Things were back to normal. Everyone was talking and having fun again. Jacer shrugged and waved his hands in defeat. Whatever. Your story will just make mine seem all the more amazing. Yay! Asher said, sitting down. All right. Let's start this from the beginning. Honestly, I thought you guys left me for good, like everyone else I'd met. I didn't really know where else to go, so I went into the bustling city. There were so many cool, colorful boats on the outskirts of the city, and the hills were so green. They reminded me of home. I'm not a really big fan of crowds, so I decided to hide in a video game shop. It was spectacular. There were games everywhere. Some of the games that were sold there weren't even supposed to be released for another month. Dudes, I'm telling you, it was such a cool store. I really want to go there again sometime. That's, wonderful and all, Asher, but was that all that happened? You went to a video game store? I asked, trying to edge him to get to the point. His eyes sparkled, and his smile grew larger and larger as he began to speak once more. No, there's a lot more to the story. Okay, so there was this kid named Daka who happened to be looking at the same game I was. I know you always tell me not to talk to strangers, but he looked really nice. Plus, he was a little younger than me. Do you know how hard it is to find another dude who is a video game nerd like me? I can tell you that it's really hard. I play video games. I think you just need to ask people, Asher. Anyways, Daka invited me to the hotel to play the game. So I gladly said yes. I guess he was on a field trip, but instead of enjoying the Spain sights, he was more interested in playing games, and with me of all people. I used some of my impressive Spanish to get us to his hotel. I'll admit I was a little rusty on it, but it got us where we needed to be. We beat the whole game within a couple hours. But I couldn't stop thinking about you guys, even though the game was fun and we screamed so much with anticipation that it should have covered any other thought. It didn't. I missed you guys. Sure, you guys are scary sometimes, but I've had so much fun over the past few weeks that I don't mind. Daka and I talked for a long while, but then something about his last sentence hit me. He told me that if I feel this much grief without you all, then maybe, just maybe, you guys feel the same way. I didn't care how small the chance was. If there was any sort of chance that you guys were going through the sorrow that I was, then I wanted to come back to you. I wanted to come back and cheer you up because nobody should ever feel like that. I smiled and set my hands on my lap. Aw, Asher, you really are awesome. Do you know that? By the way, your friend was right. I was feeling the same thing. And I'm glad you're back. Me too. Oh, and I got his gamer ID, so we can talk anytime online. I'm so happy I made another friend, he said as he leaned backward. Not bad, not bad. I bet my story's better, though, Jacer declared, just as insensitive as ever. Okay, so It all began with a phone call. See, because I'm cool like that. I rang up my homie, Carlosi, to see if he was in the area, which he was. He's an old friend, but I can explain his story another time. I wasn't too sure where I was going. I haven't been here in a while. Luckily, I noticed this guy was waving over one of those yellow and black cabs, so I pushed him to the curb, and I took it. What was I supposed to do? Call over my own cab? Nah, one that takes way too much work. Two, no one in the right mind would give me a ride. I facepalmed once more. Let me get this straight. You pushed a random person and then took his cab for pretty much no reason. Okay. Seems like you. Hey, no interrupting, Jacer yelled. As I said, I took his cab to the restaurant. You should try it sometime. It's called the La Saglan. They have the best food. I met up with Carlosi and his girlfriend Sharonis there as soon as I could because I was starving. Fun fact, Carlosi is actually from Spain and Sharonis is from the Netherlands, but they visit each other all the time. Last time I had lunch with them, they got mad, or at least tried to get mad at me, for eating everything in the restaurant and then accidentally breaking the chef's arm. Carlosi is kind of like Asher in a way. You both are kind and understanding. This time I only ate what they could pay for, which left me a little hungry still, but whatever. I won't deny free food. I kind of told them about our situation, but they kept saying stuff like I wasn't acting myself. Of course, normally I would bash anyone's head in who ditched me like you guys did, but I didn't feel like it. Maybe it meant you people are important to me in some way. Who knows? Point is, I decided that this adventure wasn't over yet and came after you. Not gonna lie, you both are total morons. Yay, Chaser likes us. I knew some part of him never wanted to really murder us, Asher celebrated. I guess that's good. I still think he wants to kill us, though. Look at those eyes, I whispered, pointing at Chaser's dagger-like pupils. You are very much right, Whisper. I do want to kill you, especially for that stunt you pulled earlier. I still can't believe you bit my hand. Jacer lashed out. Oh, come on, I didn't bite you that hard. I tried to let out an uncertain laugh, but I knew I was in for trouble. Whisper, why did you bite him? Asher asked, confused. It's not what you think. I thought he was a kidnapper. See, obviously I did the right thing, I stated. What do you mean you didn't bite hard? Look, Asher, do you see my hand? I still have teeth marks imprinted on it. She is such a liar. Jacer yanked Asher and forced him to look at his hand. I told you, I thought you were a kidnapper, I yelled once more. In all seriousness, Jacer quieted down and dropped Asher's hand. Speaking of kidnapper, it looks like we have company. Not the friendly kind either. I glanced around as fast as I could, but it was too dark to see anyone. Asher, can you give us some light? Hesitant, he took a step closer to me and formed 2 balls of fire in his hands. I could see his legs trembling in the small glow of light he had created. 4 tall men in suits and sunglasses had surrounded us and stood still. Recklessly, Jacer wrapped himself around in a veil of electricity and charged towards the tallest man. Barely moving his arm, the man punched Jacer to the ground, knocking him unconscious. That's not good. Any ideas? I asked, beginning to tremble as well. Asher shook his head from side to side. I almost missed the movement of the man on the left because as soon as we threw our eyes his way, he tossed some sort of gas grenade on the floor in front of us. Asher, put your flames out, hurry, I screamed. He did as I said, but soon enough he fell to the ground. The gas from the grenade was spreading with such speed it was getting hard to breathe. I had no choice but to collapse as well, losing consciousness with the 4 looming men engraved in my mind. All right, that's it for this chapter, guys, and feel free to join us when the next video comes out. Thanks for listening, and see you next time. Bye.